Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. Bad news for you if you drink water. Bad news for you if you use water, because guess what? The Labour government have backed an £88 billion plan to clean up the UK's waterways. Now, actually, that sounds quite good, doesn't it? We want clean water. We want fresh water. We want to be able to turn the tap on and not have issues. We want to be able to flush a toilet, do whatever we do with water, and make sure that everything is recycled as best as we can. And that's just better for everyone involved. Absolutely. Of course, the issue with that is it's not quite been like that recently, has it? We've seen a lot of companies, whether it be Southern Water or Thames Water, pumping unnecessary crap, literally, into our bodies of water that we have. Rivers, lakes, seas, you name it, they're pumping sewage straight into them. Oh, by the way, that's also at the same time that their shareholders again getting a big bunch of dividends and your bills are increasing. So Labour come in, majority in Parliament, and Labour to the rescue, an £88 billion plan in order to save your water and to save my water, to save our water. Let's have a look at the article. So here we are. What's not to like? Labour has pledged that they will end the national scandal of stinking filth in our waterways because they've backed an £88 billion investment in water firms. So what's not to like about this? Well, let's scroll down, and here's the key kicker. The government is backing plans by the regulator Ofwat for an £88 billion spending package by water utilities between 2025 and 2030, initially funded by the city or through borrowing and then recovered through higher customer bills. There you are. There is the kicker. So 88 billion on paper, and having the government really help to clean up the waterways from all of these private companies sounds okay when you think about it. But when you dig down and find that your water bill is likely to go up significantly, probably not so good, is it? Now, water is a very precious commodity. There's going to be a lot of issues with water in the next few years, not just in the UK, certainly in places like Mexico or places in Africa, or really around the world. There's going to be a lot of issues with water. Now, we are, I think, quite a tolerable set of people here in the UK. We can tolerate quite a few things, sometimes to our own detriment. I do think, though, people are getting to the end of their patience with the utility companies in general. Now, we live in a country where we are lucky to be able to go to a tap and turn it on and have running water. I appreciate that this might sound like a first world problem. We are very lucky to have what we have, but that doesn't mean that companies and people should be abusing what we have and what we have access to. So although it's nice for the government to come out and, all bells and whistles and whatnot and say, yay, 88 billion, woohoo. Well, let's just have a look at what's going to happen here. So initially funded by the city. So that possibly could be private equity. Well, in that case, private equity don't do stuff for free, does it? What would private equity want? Private equity would want to make some cash. So what's the investment? What's my return? How do we benefit from that? What are the numbers of the deal? That's what the city will want to know. 88 billion could be borrowed into existence. That's quite inflationary. That's not good. Keep doing that, and then we'll be as genius as Joe Biden and his Inflation Reduction Act, which involves spending. That doesn't quite make sense either. So borrowing 88 billion into existence, probably not a good idea either. That leaves option 3. Well, in fact, it does say into borrowing and then recovered through higher customer bills. But the damage would already be done if it's printed into existence, because that's inflationary and we'll probably all suffer as a result. Now, they could do it in stages and actually just increase customer bills. This has been mooted before. I believe there are ranges from anywhere between 40 to 90% increases expected in the next 5 years from various water companies. And this is what's going to piss a lot of people off, because there's two sides to the coin here. Number one, if you are running a private company, then you have a duty, unless you're an NGO or not-for-profit organization, whatever it might be, then you have a duty to your shareholders. Your duty is to look after your shareholders, make some cash, make sure they're happy, make profit, go happy days. Now, if you do that, it doesn't always mean you're going to get it right for the customer. But when you start dealing with commodities, utilities, etc., I think it's a bit different. Well, it should be different. It isn't different, but it should be different. Because what's happening here is what people are seeing is that water companies are paying high wages, big bonuses to all the CEOs, etc. Then a lot of cash is going out to shareholders. And at the same time, these same companies are pumping crap, basically, into various bodies of water here in the UK. They're not necessarily investing in the infrastructure. They're not necessarily doing what they should be doing in order to be greener, leaner, and meaner. And this is where I think a lot of people are going to take a big issue with this, especially if you start saying, well, yeah, 88 billion. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's going to be recovered through higher customer bills. So we're not off to a good start here, because people are going to look at, well, what's happened in the last X amount of years of water companies. We've got various water companies in financial crises for various reasons. We've got crap that's being pumped into lakes, rivers, seas, etc., etc. And maybe the infrastructure is just not good enough. A lot of the sewer network that we have is Victorian, could be, what, 150, 160 years old. So probably time for a change or an upgrade at least. Well, that needs investment. Where does that come from? And you get into this whole rigmarole. So it's really, really not good. Now, if it was a case of there had not been sewage issues, okay, and you hadn't had all these stories out of, water companies being naughty, then I think people could possibly stomach it, to be honest with you. That's my gut instinct. It's when you get to the stage that you have all this negative press and, we're pumping sewage over here, we're doing this and we're doing that. Oh, by the way, our CEO got, this is his salary or her salary. This is a bonus that they got. Oh yeah, our shareholders have just received X amount of pounds in dividends. Oh, sorry, after all of that, we're in a financial crisis. Who's going to pay for that? Or let me think, the consumer. Yeah, the consumer can pay for it. It's absolutely fine. Unacceptable. Really, really not acceptable. Now, if you're lucky enough to have your own water source, fantastic, great, good for you. But if you're not, then maybe there should be a bit of a protest going on here, because this isn't acceptable. And what the plan from the government is to make you pay for it. Whether you want to or not, you're going to pay for it. That's also unacceptable. You should be holding the utility companies, the water companies in this case, you should be holding their feet to the fire, getting them to actually do stuff. I'm not saying get rid of all your shareholdings. I'm not saying don't pay shareholder profits. What I am saying is that there should be maybe an infrastructure agreement that they've got to invest X amount into the infrastructure per year, stop pumping crap everywhere, probably a good start as well. Then it might be more manageable for people. It's all a bit no bueno, to say the least. And of course, what's going to happen is that it's probably going to get worse. This situation is probably going to get worse. All of that being said, on paper, you might read the headline and go, yes, Labour government, they're actually doing something fantastic. Let's crack on. Well done. So even just when you dig deep into a paragraph there, you're not even digging deep. Just when you look at a paragraph, you then realize that actually at the end of the day, who's going to be paying for that? Congratulations, that's going to be you that is paying for that. We'll put that under the no bueno category. A small favor to ask, please do go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's growing nicely. Loads of content in the past that's been and gone. Loads of great content coming up as well. Use the bell notification thing to alert you to when new videos come out. Thank you very much. Yeah, go and protest against water companies. Something needs to be done here. Otherwise, either through inflation or your bills going up, or a combination of both, it's not going to be a pretty end result. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.